Hello and welcome to Magical Marker, a game of Dungeons and Dragons and drawings. We're a bunch of cartoonists and illustrators who won't just be playing the game, but doodling what happens along the way. It's a PG-13 story of teens and tweens on their first big adventure on their own. Let's introduce our cast. Start with Boya.
Hello, I am Boya. I'm playing, my character's name is Bug, and he is a warlock bugbear. He's 12 years old.
Priscilla.
Hi, I'm Priscilla, and I play Isburiel, who is a 17-year-old half-elf bard.
Caitlin.
Hi, I'm Caitlin. I play Zip. She is a drow fighter and is 16 years old.
And Matt.
Hello, my name is Matt. I'm playing Swell. He's a 15-year-old Water Ganassi cleric.
And I'm your Dungeon Mancer, Brian. I'm currently running the party's NPC companions, Sutran, a magically animated severed hand of a spellcaster from decades ago who's searching for her other hand so she can magic herself back a body. I'm also playing a group of Islander teens who have ditched their homes for adventure with the group. The lumberjack Wanti, Dresdick Lumber Splitter, the far traveler dwarf Yarva Goldfoot, and the hunter-gatherer Tabaxi Proc. Last week, our heroes started in the tropical drow town of New Firestone. They decided to pay a visit to the Arachnomancer Mayor, a gifted spellcaster who has used his powers to construct his community a conclave of crystalline habitats. Only partially distracted by his luscious lips, they discovered that Zip is the spitting image of her long-lost-at-sea mother. Zip enjoyed hearing from someone who had met and worked with her parents. But then awkward Swell stumbled into a tense talk about the mysterious pyramid that had taken the mayor's brother's wife. Mayor Vargel asked them not to betray his hospitality by hitting that hornet's nest in their midst. The teens decided it would be best to try their luck on another adventure. Out in the wilderness north of town, they searched for sweet treats that they hoped would lead them to the wood witch that haunts the jungle, leaving gifts for passerbys who seemed to never return. While Isburiel, Swell, and Yarva didn't eat of the tasty treats on the twisting trails, the others indulged with abandon. Is it with abandon or without abandon? I think it's
With abandon.
with abandon. All right. Assuming this witch was just misunderstood, and she was awkward at making friends. But around the night's campfire, Isburiel created a creepy story of witches that made even her blood run cold with terror. During Zip and Bug's guard duty, they spotted a new slice of triple-layered cake left out for them at the edge of the firelight. But since Isburiel's story had cast the witch in a new light, rather than eating the new treat, they became wary of this gourmet gift. Zip spotted yellow eyes watching them from a distance. The rest of the party was shook awake, and they called out a combination of threats and invitations to whoever or whatever was watching them. Bushwhacking into the jungle after the eyes, the party quickly lost sight of them, and then almost as quickly retreated back to the camp where they found the rest of the dessert waiting for them with a note. Come to my cottage and I'll answer your questions. And that's where we pick up the game today.
Where is it?
Does she leave instructions?
She didn't leave any directions.
Anything under the cake? Under the note? No.
I mean, it looks like we just follow the treats, right? So far, it's been leading us closer to her, I guess.
We don't know.
Like this way of direction taking. Just follow the
Around to
treats.
see if there's any other treats besides that cake.
So in the darkness, you can't spot any, like, from, your torch light or your firelight from the campfire you have going that leads out. I think that gives you, is it 15 or 20 feet of light and then another 15 to 20 feet of dim light. So you don't see anything, you don't see any treats in that area.
You have dark vision, though?
I do.
So then that dark vision would lead you out to like a total of 60 feet. So you do not see any treats beyond 60 feet. And in the past, all of the treats have been sort of like leading you down, like you're not sure which path to go down. And then you're like, oh, down that path, I see some treats. And you go down that path.
I think we just have to wait for morning.
Yeah, I mean, she probably doesn't mean right now. Like, go to her house right now,
I hope not.
So, well, I mean, since we figured out what that was, we should finish our rest.
Yeah, I agree.
You look over and Dresdick is just like eating some of the cake that was left there. This one's good too.
Gonna
And
face palm.
Yarva's like, oh,
Yeah.
what? Why?
What flavor is it?
So many flavors.
Really?
So many.
There's chocolate and berries. I think there's dragon fruit. A lot of different flavors in this. I think there's nuts. I hope you're not allergic. It's good.
Can we put the rest in Boxy?
If you'd like. I mean, if you say, well, okay. I just have one more.
Yeah.
Okay. You can put the rest in.
Okay.
Does his
Okay.
mood
Alright.
seem different before? Is he
I wasn't role playing him as much last week. I was trying to let you guys. I don't let the NPCs interrupt too much, but yeah, he was totally eating. After he saw Zip eating, he started joining in all the food. And
Okay, I have a question about the note on the cake. Is it like written in delicate icing on the cake?
no, it is. There is a piece of paper beside it, and it's written in very delicate handwriting now. Lots of
Doesn't-
serifs.
doesn't look like creepy witch writing? It just looks like normal person writing.
I mean, I'm not going to tell you what creepy is. Creepy is subjective, right?
So it's not written in the blood of children, I guess is my
Is the
question.
note also made out of candy? I'm
Mm,
gonna bite it.
You're going to bite it?
Just
It just tastes like paper,
It's laced with
honestly a
LSD.
little disappointing.
like a thick, watercolor type paper with sort of ragged edges.
I'm gonna put that in my pocket.
All right.
Make a note of it.
Make a note of the note. Okay. Well,
Note from Creep Witch.
double watch, double watch, double watch, double watch.
So I believe Swell took the first watch and then went to sleep for a few hours. I think was asleep for another 2 hours before you guys spotted. Actually, no, it was 4 hours. So East Burial, no, I think it was only 2 hours. So East Burial should be sort of awake now. Doesn't need to sleep if they don't want to. And Brock is still sleeping. Yarva is still sleeping. Dresdick still needs sleep. Bug needs sleep. And
I think
Zip
me
needs a couple
and
hours.
Bug were doing our watch when the witch showed up.
yeah,
Is that right?
but it was at the end of your watch, basically.
Oh, okay.
Or
Okay.
not the sorry, it was at 2 hours in to your watch.
So we're allowed to go to sleep now.
If you want. I mean, at now is when East Boreal wakes up naturally. Sort of like East Boreal was woken up like a little bit earlier than they would have liked, but like when your alarm clock wakes you up and you're like, now you're up and you're awake, not like, oh my goodness, I need to go back to sleep.
Okay. Okay, good. You take over. I go to bed.
Well, he's certainly not going to volunteer, but if it looks like everybody else is going to bed, he'll just sigh and stay up, keep an eye out. He is definitely playing very unconcerned and indifferent about this witch appearing in the middle of the camp, though.
Okay.
Are you just gonna watch by yourself? Everyone else is asleep?
Well, it's the only way I can get any intelligent conversation anyway.
What about who's your partner? The watch partner? Like if we partnered up to take watch.
Sorry, what was the first bit? Before the...
Who is your watch partner? Because then we team up to.
I don't think we had set any specific ones. It just happened to work out.
Oh, okay.
The two people up at the same time. So I don't think I had a specific one set before.
Just no one spoke up. Everyone just went to sleep.
Yeah. Brooke looks around and just starts drawing faces on everyone while they're sleeping.
Dresdick says, I'll stay up. There's a lot of chocolate in that. I'm feeling a little wired right now. If you want, I'll take a couple hours with you.
If you must.
Hey, I don't must. I'll go right back to sleep if you want.
Well, if you mustn't.
Can't admit it that you want help. I love it.
All right, fine. I'll stay up.
He kind of doesn't say anything, but he just sort of looks a little bit relieved and then moves off to one side of the campsite to look out away from the fire.
Dresdick, I'm going to roll for this. I don't think it's going to be very good. Well, it's not too bad. He subtly is asking questions about Zip, trying to get a feel for if he has a chance with her.
Yeah, I think I should keep trying. She's very, she plays hard to get quite, and I think she shows affection by yelling at people and punching them quite often. So if she does that to you, then it might be a good sign.
Maybe it's a sign I shouldn't pursue her.
Well, under normal circumstances, I would say so, yes. Generally, there are people who, like you, have sort of ways of showing it, but Zip is weird.
Okay. Thanks for the advice.
No problem, anytime.
Otherwise, he's just pretty nonchalant, casual. You know, is happy to be quiet a lot. But if, you seem a little bit nervous, he starts talking again and asking about things like, your favorite food that you've eaten when you were out. Really non-challenging sort of conversation topics. Mm-hmm. Just things to sort of keep your mind active and to keep you thinking too much about the wood witch that scared you last night and like the story that scared you. He sort of picks up that you might be a little bit scared, so he's trying to help out.
Mm-hmm. Hang on. I actually want to. Isabel sort of picks up that he has picked up on this and he withdraws a bit. It seems a little bit offended. He's just like, his favorite food is like, says something along the lines of, I like steak that's very rare and very hearty stuff, and basically just putting up a front and speaking very loudly and laughing a little bit too loudly at his own jokes.
He's like, steak, I don't get that. I mean, a lot of people think that's like a manly food, really tough food, but like, I mean, how hard is it to kill a cow? You just, walk up on a field and, now boar, that's tricky, Well,
that's why you go for jaguar steaks.
Jaguar steaks, huh?
The delicacy. And very hard to get. In fact, we had a few before we came to your village. We were attacked by some jaguars and I took them down.
Sounds
decent boxy, actually.
Sounds dangerous, but you're the gifted ones.
Certainly. And don't you forget it.
So after a couple hours, he wants to go to sleep, and then Zip's awake. So the two of you are on guard duty. Do you guys want to have a talk, or do you just want to fast forward time?
This world doesn't really have anything in particular to, well, he might probe a little bit on how she feels about Drozdik, but was not like really digging into it because he kind of feels he already knows.
Zip will be very cagey with her answers. Be like, I don't know. Yeah, he's alright, I guess. Why are you asking? Do you like him?
Those cuts a fine figure.
I don't know. They're finer. I've seen finer.
Do you have anyone in mind?
I don't know, just around. Zip's gonna like be looking at Swell a bit, and then
He's just.
why? Is there anyone that you like? Yagra? You into Yagra's a dwarf, right?
Yarva's a dwarf, yeah.
Yava.
So, I haven't seen anyone who's worthwhile of me yet.
No one at all. Flick my hair a little.
I mean, look at me. Do you think that someone like me would end up with anyone that we've met yet?
Well, there was that creepy witch in the woods, inviting us to her house. That's
Okay,
basically an offer, right? It's the best offer you're going to get.
To everyone? Oh, that's kinky.
And who else have we seen on our adventures? There was the Chimera. I think you and that Chimera would have made a pretty good couple. You both smell bad. You're both unpleasant to be around.
If you keep talking to me that way, I think that you're starting to quite fancy me.
Yeah, right. You don't really cut the kind of figure that I like.
So you think?
I do think. I do.
And he's going to let the subject lapse and kind of go back to staring out into the forest.
Okay. There's no further disturbances through the evening. And you guys are, like, the sun's coming up pretty early. People like Swell and Drozdik and Bug, who all took like an extra couple hours to watch, are now, need to rest an extra couple hours. So Yarva is awake and Proc is awake. And they're just hanging out, talking, kind of relaxed, nothing big. Proc's always got a game he's playing and is trying to teach you guys like the rules to some sort of game. But otherwise, everybody wakes up. You can have the benefits of a long rest.
Long rest.
I'll draw Yarva up here.
All right. Anyone check for any cake nearby?
Zip's gonna stalk the perimeter and see if she can see any more cake.
Don't see any more cake.
She's gonna yell out into the woods. Which way? To your cottage.
Which way, huh?
Which way?
There's only one way to really keep going in this path. Like, you just stopped because you were tired. You didn't stop because you didn't know which way to go.
Right.
Oh, okay. So it's pretty clear.
I mean,
Just
if
keep
you
going, then.
you figure it's probably still along the path that you're headed along. I mean, it might not be, but that would be your guess.
All right. Well, let's go then. No use hanging around here.
All right, let's go.
All right. May I get some perception checks from whoever's leading the group? The two people that are doing it. You can, ask somebody like Proc, who was doing some looking yesterday, to join in if you don't want to do the rolls yourselves.
I got an 18.
Okay.
I guess Swell would be up there as well.
Do you want to do a roll too, Swell?
Yeah. 10.
10. Okay. So Swell doesn't really know exactly where you're going.
I'm gonna make some comments while we're walking, like, gosh, I sure am hungry. I sure could go for some cake right now.
And when you get to like an intersection, you see like down one of the paths, you see that there's another one of those leaves that has some sweets on it. And these ones have like little chocolate balls dusted with coconut sprinkles. And there's like 3 of them.
Here you go.
Wow.
Ask and you shall receive.
All right, looks like we're on the right track. I'll eat one of the chocolate balls.
All right. If they're on offer, Dresdick will take another one. And
I'm not gonna eat any more of the chocolate or of the candy because the witch was kind of creepy.
okay.
You too creeped out?
Yeah.
Well, I don't think we even seen them.
Well, just like in the grass, the eyes or whatever, and your story,
Oh, that's right.
Oh,
I
yeah.
forgot.
your scary story.
Saw those weird eyes.
So then this continues for another few hours where you're finding other suites that lead you down certain passageways, certain pathways. You start to notice that the environment around you is starting to change. Some of the bushes you're seeing aren't just ferns, but ones that look like they're made out of cotton candy. You notice that a branch on one of the trees looks like has the spiral of one of those, candy sticks or those sweet sticks that you would get from, in the jars in like a pioneer village. What are those candy sticks called? Probably just a candy stick.
Rock candy or something?
Sure.
Oh yeah, I think it's like rock candy, where it's sort of like crystalline spikes.
It's like a tube, and then it's got a spiral, and like there's one that's root beer, and there's one that's like vanilla, and like those types of things. That's what the tree branches are starting to look like on the trees. Like,
That's crazy.
environment around this area is starting to take on sweet appearances.
Can we eat the surroundings?
What do you want to try? You want to try the first things you've seen are the cotton candy and like some branches that look like candy.
Are these popular treats for the culture in this world?
You recognize them as being, you don't recognize the cotton candy probably, but you would recognize the rock candy as being something you've seen plenty of times back in your hometown.
Yeah, I'll break off a bit of rock candy and
I'll be like, I didn't know that. It's
just like lick
they
it.
grew on trees. I didn't know that's how they were made.
Where else do you think they
Wow.
come from?
Is there a particular cultural bent
Right.
to these candy?
Make me a history check.
21.
21. That's a pretty good roll.
18 plus 3.
You remember these as being a like if you think about all the different things that you've seen, they remind you of things that are done by a lot of the people you've seen in the Basilic kingdoms. That these are very elven and elven appropriated other foods. So like, they learned some things from the halflings and they took some cocoa from the Rainbow Archipelago, and there's a lot of that stuff in there. The way that they're finished and the way that they're decorated feel like it's something from the Basilic Kingdom, above and beyond the other stuff, the other places. Even though it has ingredients that would have originally been part of some other culture, when you've had these sweets and seen them in the villages that you've been in, they weren't displayed in the same sort of manner.
So
This is reminding me of that story, Charles and the Candy Cauldron. And there was like kids that would like eat all the different sweets and turn into giant gumballs and.
What are you, a baby? You don't believe that stuff's actually true, do you?
No, I don't, but look at this. And I'll snap off like one of the twigs and I'll like shake it at you like, this shouldn't exist, and yet here it is.
Who's to say it shouldn't exist?
Nature?
What do you know about nature?
Quite a bit, actually. Mostly underwater nature, but,
See?
it's nature
You
still.
don't know anything. These could be completely natural occurrences.
Well, Zip, you said you wanted to try eating one, and I
Yeah.
didn't tell you what happened.
Okay.
You died. No.
Oh my god.
I knew I was forgetting something.
I didn't eat it. I just licked it.
It tastes like vanilla.
All right. I'll keep licking it.
Okay. Seeing you do this, Dresdick breaks off one. He's like, "Oh, this one's pretty good too. This one's sort of like a cherry flavor. You don't get a lot of cherries around here. It's a nice sort of exotic flavor. Do you want to try?
No.
I'll break
I
off
got
some off
one.
the bottom.
No, it's fine.
Okay. Do you mind breaking off a little bit of that? Can I try?
Yeah, here, you can just have it.
Oh, okay. Thanks. And he's enjoying. Oh, this is pretty good. Vanilla and cherry together. Ooh. And he's pretending he has an extra set of fangs.
It's going to be a little bit off-put by this display.
And he's doing it not to you, but doing it to like the other people. Like he's doing it for Bug and Proc and Yarva. He's trying to amuse them.
Are all the plants made out of candy or just some of them?
No, just little sprinklings here and there.
Oh, okay. And the dirt is still dirt.
It looks like it, but could be cocoa powder. Do you want to taste it?
Yeah.
I'm just going to lick the dirt.
I put my finger through it.
Your finger, like it feels like dirt.
Oh, okay.
Do you want to taste it?
No.
Okay,
I know what dirt feels like.
sure. So you guys continue without much event. There isn't anything particularly threatening in this part of the forest, or the rainforest. And you guys are going to arrive at this cottage. And I have a piece of art prepared, but I prepared it not knowing how or when you would arrive there. So there's going to be some modifications to my description of it. So I'll pop up the piece of artwork first.
Okay.
Which will take a while for it to show up in the stream. For some reason, it always does this. But I will create a new layer. You come upon a gingerbread house in a cotton candy area. You've heard the rustling of the the running of the river. One of the tributaries does pass by here. There are cookie stepping stones to get to it.
Oh, wow.
And the thing that's different is you see that there's a leopard person out in front who has set up a table with white tablecloth and a bunch of chairs with no backs, like little stools around it, enough for everybody. And she's sitting there, and I'll pop up a picture of her as well. And she waves you over and says, "Oh, hello. I'm glad you made it." And let me grab the file here. And there's like what looks like a like a wedding cake that's stacked up like 3 levels tall, all with decorations around the outside of it. And it's decorated in all of your different faces. And there are also other sweets and fruits and things laid out on the table.
How realistic is it?
It's definitely stylized.
Okay.
A little bit.
A little creepy, but it would be extra creepier if they were actually realistic.
They're photorealistic.
It's like one of those printed sheet cakes. But it's like it was just a candid shot, and so everyone's just got those weird expressions in freeze where it's like
The lighting's really bad. We've got the like, you know, when you used to take a flash photo and you'd get those like red eyes.
This is simple.
back in the old days, before cell phone cameras.
There we go. Now it's showing up.
Okay, cool.
These the lost children on the roof.
Can I do a perception check to see if the gingerbread men look like they were once children who have been turned into gingerbread men?
You may do a perception check, yes.
Oh, natural 20.
All right.
You know their names.
There's no way for you to know whether they are or not, but every once in a while you see them look at you like they blink.
What? Wait, the cookies on the roof, they're blinking? You said?
Yeah.
All right,
I'm trying to paste in another layer, another image here of the jaguar. It's not working for some reason.
I'm going to approach the jaguar lady and say, "This is all very creepy."
Oh, I'm sorry. I was trying to make something beautiful and tasty.
I'm Zip. These
Hello,
are my
Zip.
friends.
I'm pleased to meet you. Hello, friends.
Hello.
Good day, milady.
I'm
Where
Sister
the-
Sweet Tooth.
Why are the cookies on the
Sweet.
roof
As
blinking?
courtly a bow as you can manage. You can manage a pretty courtly bow.
Oh, they're my guardians.
What do they do?
Oh, if there are monsters that come out of the forest, they help protect me if I'm unable to protect myself.
What are they made out of?
They're made out of gingerbread and a little bit of magic.
How do they not just get eaten?
Well, sometimes they get nibbled at. That's okay.
I kind of want to test one of the cookie cobblestones or paving stones
Sure.
underneath. Not eating it, just like kind of pushing a toe against it, seeing if it has the same consistency as like actual cookie and so crumbles easily, or if it's.
It seems like more of a charred burnt cookie, like, you know, when they're like a little harder, like
A biscuit.
it's tough, but then little bits of it sort of crack off a little, but it's not super hard.
It's a bicky. I'm gonna say to her, so what are you doing do you do out here in the woods? We heard that like people come out here and then they go missing. Did you turn them into gingerbread?
Turn them into gingerbread.
Well, that's one way to go about it.
There are some people that have come out here hunting for me and looking for my head, and I've dealt with those in what might be considered an unpleasant manner. But those who come seeking my gifts, they're greeted with conversation, just like you are. And we get to know one another, and as long as they are not rude and unpleasant, then they go on their way.
So do you live out here by yourself?
Unfortunately, yes, I do.
It's a very pleasant, a fine tea spread that you have here. It would be very rude of us to miss out on your hospitality.
I haven't made any tea right now. I have a bunch of tea inside if you would like me to brew something. I didn't know what flavors you would like. I tried to make as much food as possible, but I didn't know when you'd arrive, so I thought the tea would get cold.
Your thoughts? Would you not object if I summoned a spirit to aid you in this, so that none of us might have to lift a finger, and we can all sit down and enjoy ourselves and speak with each other?
Oh, that's fine by me.
And he'll withdraw a little bit and start and cast Unseen Servant Ritual. So he'll be occupied for a little bit.
It's exciting to see some gifted people.
How do you prevent ant infestation
Special
in your
ingredients.
house?
Special ingredients that keeps the ants, that they don't like them.
How did you turn the trees into candy?
That I don't do on purpose. That just happens by me being here.
Is it okay that we ate them? Is that weird?
That you ate what?
The tree candy?
Wait,
I don't think so.
what?
I mean-
what do you? Hold on. Oh, what do you mean that that they turn into candy from when just by you being there? Like, they turn into candy by themselves?
Yeah, it's just happened. I've noticed since I've been living here. It just seems to be a natural byproduct of me, I guess.
Are you gifted?
Yeah, that's what I want to know.
No, I'm not gifted. I have to do the magic the old-fashioned way.
Like by sacrificing people?
Oh, no. Well, sacrifices must be made for magic. You don't get one thing without destroying something else. But I don't try to. I mean, people that come looking for trouble, I'll admit some of them have been sacrificed. But if they, I don't go out of my way to hurt people. But in order to have my magic work, I need to get rid of something. I'm not as fortunate as you.
What do you get rid of?
Oh, the image appeared.
I might have to, if I get rid of a flower or sacrifice time, money. And she has a little bird, gingerbread familiar that's flapping around sort of near her.
Cute.
As well.
Does she turn? Do you turn animals into candy as well?
I have, yeah. There have been some predators that have come knocking on my door to eat me, and so instead, I've eaten them.
I'm gonna, Zip's gonna sit down at one of the stools and start eyeing off the cakes and things.
Help yourself to any of it. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer.
I'm gonna
And she
eat
starts
Muriel's
pointing out.
face.
I have a
The
question.
cake looks a little sus, but
She starts pointing out things and telling you flavors and like this one's gingerbread and that's coconut and this one's chocolate and all that stuff. But
is there
yes,
blood
sure.
on her smock? Like on her apron?
You can do a perception check.
Okay. It's like, okay, natural 20 for a total of 23.
Natural 23?
Yeah.
You're pretty sure it's like a jam jelly thing rather than
Okay.
blood.
Okay.
At least most of it. Some of it you couldn't tell, like, it's just too old and dried. But, I mean, the white stuff looks like the powdered sugar, and the red looks like the same red as on the cake. It looks kind of gelatinous, which makes it look a little like it's weird that it would like looks more like a jam, right? With you can maybe see a seed in it, one of them.
A little bit worrying, if I'm honest.
Is that gingerbread bird a real bird? Like, was it a real bird? Or did you make that?
Oh, I made it new. This is Snap.
You said Snap?
Yeah, this name's Snap.
Okay.
If there's nothing here you like, if you don't have a sweet tooth, then
It's not that. It's just
well,
that
help yourself to some water from the river. It's fresh and clean.
It's more that we've been led to believe that you have been abducting people and
putting them on the roof as gingerbread.
So we came out here to investigate, not to attack. We're not attacking you. We're talking. There's nothing, you don't need to turn us into gingerbread people, ma'am. We're just talking here. But, it wasn't just people that came looking for you. It was people that wandered off the path.
Oh, well, I mean, there are other things that live in this forest. If they went off the path, it's possible I feel bad about it if they've met an unpleasant end to something else, but there are chimeras and manticores and other things that live in this forest.
Why don't you live in town? Because I feel like you could make a lot of money with these things if you live there. You could sell them and you could be living pretty well, and everyone could be enjoying the fruits of your labor.
I find that people don't like my company. I find that people either want to run me out of town for being too creepy and scary and weird, or they want to use me and they come to me for like, oh, I need your help with this and I need your help with that and I need you to do this and oh, do this for me and do that for me. And they ask so much. And nobody wants to pay the price. As I've said, there's always a price to be paid for the magic that I do.
What's the price?
And then they don't understand. They think...
Is the price blood? Is it blood? It's definitely blood.
Often, yes.
Knew it.
I lose a lot of blood. Luckily, the humanoids, we can lose a lot of blood and we'll grow it back. It'll come back in time.
What do people ask you to do? Like bake their wedding cakes or?
Oh no, if it was just wanting a cake, that's not a problem. But when they start asking for magic favors, they want to see the future.
You can do that?
Yeah. Then there's...
What other kind of magic can you do? Can you like teleport people?
No, that's not what I can do. Is that something you can do?
No, that would be really useful.
Are you gifted as well? Are you all gifted?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, some of us are. Not all of us.
I'm gifted at eating cake, and that's about it. Dresdick is eating
at
some
this
of the food
point.
now.
I imagine at this point, the spell is finished casting, and as Buriel calls out, if you tell me where the things are, I can have has to go in and start making tea, preparing tea for all of us.
She gives instructions. I'm not going to, spell them out exactly, but, it's like you go to that side and then on that shelf, the third tin on the left or whatever. And, she asks, what flavor of tea you want first and then, gives pretty standard directions.
Okay. I say, I wish to keep speaking with you, but I do need to be within a certain distance of my servant in order for it to keep working. So he's going to kind of wander over to close to the entrance.
Sure.
And then when he's there, the first mental command he gives to the unseen servant is to look for any bones, humanoid bones, in the cottage.
Humanoid bones.
Sorry, could you say that one last time?
He's going, the first command, he kind of just stands outside of it, leans casually against the front, next to the front door. And the first mental command he gives to the unseen servant is to search for any humanoid bones inside the cottage.
Okay.
Actually, are the windows open? Can it be seen when things move around in there?
Let's call up that image again. Did you take control of those layers, Matt?
I thought I gave them back to you.
There you go.
There you go.
No real windows.
No window.
Okay.
So your command is find it or look for bones, right?
Look for humanoid bones here.
Okay.
Well, I guess I wouldn't be able to tell, so that, yeah, I guess bones. Figure it out from there.
But then, once they've looked for them, you would need a command, once you found them, collect them or report back. What do you want to be done if they succeed in finding them?
Bring them to me.
Okay. It isn't very long before you're brought back a jar of humanoid teeth. And they're just floating there.
I try to pocket it quickly before anyone sees.
Okay. You've noticed that Snap has come over and is hanging out closer to where you are.
Can I pocket it without Snap saying?
Would you like to make a sleight of hand check?
I would. Okay. I kind of, I'm sort of twisting and turning. I started twisting and turning, look at my cloak and hold it out a bit. And I do a minor illusion to make it look like there's some sort of scut or something. And I start kind of brushing at it and kind of doing a little bit of a scrub thing. And while I'm doing that, I try to kind of grab that jar of teeth and stick that underneath my cloak.
All right. So what do you get on your roll?
16, so that's a 19.
19?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You think you feel pretty confident. You feel smooth and slick in your using your image to help you out.
And then after that, I tell the servant to actually go about and do the tea preparation stuff.
Okay. Anyone else? Is anybody partaking in the food?
Yeah, we'll eat some of the food.
Okay. She seems very happy that you're indulging. I'm glad that some of you are. It's not very often I get to entertain. I'm glad some of you are enjoying it.
Where did you get the ingredients for these from? It's a lot of flour for some amount of cakes.
Oh, I go into town and I buy them.
Which town?
Depends on what I need. Usually Rum Rumble.
Do they know you? Do they know that you're the Candy Witch?
No, nobody knows who I am. Well, a few people know. But
Well, we know now.
yeah.
What if we tell other people? Is that going to be a problem?
What are you going to tell them?
That we met the Candy Witch?
Yeah. I mean, people have told those stories before.
We'll draw a portrait of you and show it to everyone.
Oh, I'd love to see some of your drawings.
Did you make the portraits of us on the cake?
I did.
So why did you were you watching us? Why were you watching us?
Oh, I heard some people coming through the forest, and I wanted to check on who it was. And I saw
Why didn't you say why didn't you say anything and just left us
I feel more
eggs on the floor?
I feel more comfortable meeting people here on my home turf. I saw that there were a lot of you, and you have a lot of weapons, and you seem to have magic, and I was scared. I thought here, where I'm safe, where I have my gingerbread who can help me out, I feel more comfortable. I mean, you seem nice, but looks can be deceiving.
Why do they hang out on your roof?
Oh. I don't know. I thought it looked nice.
Wouldn't they like to walk around like the bird?
They have emotions, really. They're like, it's like a golem. You know, like, have you ever seen an iron golem or a stone golem?
No.
I don't think
They're the
we have.
nasty flesh golems, sew body parts together. They're gross.
So you made them?
Yeah. I baked them in my oven.
So I don't. Okay. I don't understand what's going on at all, guys. Does anyone know what's happening?
We're in the middle of the woods. There's a witch that makes candy. I don't know what you're confused about.
But she's not evil. She's not a bad witch, right? You're not evil, are you, ma'am?
I mean, evil's in the eye of the beholder. I don't think of myself as evil.
Yeah. So,
I know some people do, though. You know, you cast a few spells and all of a sudden you're evil. Some
Can I
people
do a
think you're
couple of
evil for
things?
being a tabaxi.
Well, people think that we're evil because we got gifts. But I don't know. She seems pretty nice and friendly and like a little bit weird. Don't get me wrong, ma'am. You seem nice, but you're a little bit weird.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I don't live in villages, too. I'm pretty awkward around people. I mean, look at all the stuff I made. I didn't know what to do. I don't know how to talk to
Can I
people.
do a couple of things?
What?
Can I do a couple of things? I'd
Sure.
like to glance inside the hut door
Sure.
as the little tray and teapot for steaming tea sort of splitting out. He holds the door open so that presumably the instincts are. I actually don't know how many limbs it has, but basically kind of making it easier for the servant to carry out the tea service.
Sure.
And then he wants to look inside and take an evaluative glance. And while he was waiting before that, I want to do an insight check on her.
Sure, do your insight check.
Oh,
3,
4.
4. Because you've removed yourself from this and you're seeing the back of them and you're hearing them talk from a distance and you're kind of more worried about the bird and seeing you and paying attention to what you're doing, that maybe you're off your game, that you can't get a good read on them. But inside, the gingerbread house is clean and orderly. The hut is taken up with clean, well-stocked kitchen, table, and chairs. Sitting on the counter, well, there would be a cake if it hadn't been outside. There are jars of lollipops, chocolates, licorice. There were teeth. They're not there anymore. There are books on others. There are sharp utensils that stand by a wash basin on the counter. And the upper part of the house is how it's like this? Oh, why am I doing that when I can draw a picture?
Like an A-frame.
Yeah. The house is like this. So all of the stuff, like the cooking stuff, is down here. And then up here, there's a little bit of a cutout, and then you see all sorts of like blankets and stuff. It looks like this is the area, like there's pillows and blankets and stuff, like a sleeping area up there. And it's like, you know how like if you have a cat tree or whatever, where they're like, there's like, it just looks like a really cozy place where a cat might curl up.
Okay.
Are there any trapdoors or anything? Okay.
Give me a perception check.
15.
You don't see any trapdoors, and you don't, like, other than the floor, you don't see anywhere where there would be a trapdoor. Like when you think about the outside of the house and the inside of the house, and you're trying to figure out like the geometrics of the place. But that being said, she also does have like a fairly large stove. But if she cooked like an entire gingerbread person in there, it must be some sort of magic stove.
Okay.
Like, or it was rolled up and then she unrolled it or something. Like cubic wise, you could fit one in there, but just flat. Like you can't just fit a person lying down flat in her oven.
Right, or it would have to be like done separately in sections.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Basically, yeah, I get what you mean.
So that's the one thing that feels funky, is the geometry of this place doesn't seem right for that. But otherwise, you don't notice anything particularly unusual.
Brian, what was the ruling on ritual spells? Do they need to be prepared in order to cast them, or could I cast them as a ritual and not expend a spell slot?
According to the official rule book, it says that you need to have them, and I said no. I like the idea that you can just cast a ritual spell if you have it.
I'll say, all right, I don't know what's going on. I'm a little bit wigged out, a little bit spooked. I'm gonna go sit down for a bit, and I'll just be over there. I'll walk like 10, 15 feet away, sit down, and start ritually casting detect magic.
Are you going to move close to the hut or away from the hut, like towards the water? Where are you going?
Closer to the water, I guess, but away from the hut.
Sorry, I was coughing over that first part. I muted myself, but
away from the hut, but like closer to the water. Maybe not like on the banks of it, but
sure.
You know, he feels more at peace near the water, so he'll be close to that.
Are you trying to be secretive about the ritual you're performing? Because it is something where you have to, like, you know, pray to your god and stuff.
Well, not particularly. I think it's just a case of I'm casting it, and maybe it looks like it's I'm doing a prayer, but it's not harmful. So hopefully,
she looks at you and she's like, "What's he doing? Is he casting a spell?"
I don't know. He's like praying to his god or something.
Oh, I'm interested to see this. I don't get to see a lot of new magic, the
He's like
gifted
the
magic.
religious type. It's a bit weird, actually. Do you have a god that you like pray to?
No, I don't.
Me neither.
I'm going to use the brief distraction to excuse myself with the excuse of using the gentleman's restroom, and freshening out for tea, and then I'm gonna like go off into the woods a little ways to get out of sight.
I'm going to continue asking her questions about her magic, because not only to create a distraction for my friends who are clearly doing some suspicious stuff, but also because Zip is genuinely interested in what kind of freaky stuff this lady can do.
Sure.
I want to investigate the teeth, if as needed. Actually, because I'm a little paranoid right now, I will also make it look like it's just a map case of sheets of paper that I'm looking through with minor illusion while I'm looking through it.
Give me an investigation roll.
Mm-hmm. 13.
It's pretty clear that a lot of them are very rotten teeth. And they're, people who have eaten a lot of sweets, haven't taken care of their teeth. all sorts of different shapes and sizes. Like there are clearly ones from tabaxis and wanti, but also ones that may have come from halflings or dwarves or humans. Some probably came from children, some probably came from adults. There's a real mishmash of different sorts of teeth in there.
Mm-hmm. And it doesn't look like there's whole sets, it just looks like individual ones.
I mean, unless you want to get them out and try and do some sort of thing on it, but from the outside, you see such a variety of, like I said, like there are ones that are clearly fangs from serpent people, and ones that are clearly like, more like elf or human teeth.
Okay.
So there could be a few different sets in there from different creatures.
Mm-hmm. I will spend an appropriate amount of time away after investigating that.
Okay.
Before I return.
Bug, what are you doing during all this?
I guess I am also with Zip and the Tabaxi. Ask the witch and ask her asking her questions.
Do you have a question you want to ask?
Yeah, I want to know what other magic she can do. So, like, can you see where people are?
Oh, scrying.
Like right now? Yeah.
I can do some scrying, yeah.
What do you need their like names or something to? What like information do you need to?
The more I know about them, the better. So a picture, something that belonged to them, their name, their likely whereabouts. These things all help me.
Can you see for us if Britta Brushpond is in where she is? She's like a old lady Titan Slayer. And I don't know what else is she. Do you have other descriptions?
Yeah, I'll tell her where Britta Brushwan lives, and that we're heading in that direction to go and see her.
Both of you make history checks.
8.
11.
Neither of you remember this, but Yarva chirps in with, I think Swell had something made by her that you used last time you scried.
I can't remember what it was.
You had like a paintbrush or something that she had given you.
Right. No, I think, yeah, that must be.
Or a sketchbook. It was something art related that she'd given you.
Okay.
Well, we should wait until Swell gets back from his praying.
Well, I mean, I'm right there. My pack's right there.
Oh, your pack's right there?
Yeah, I would have taken it off. And
I'm going to dig through your pack.
kind of look at you from the side while I'm like muttering incantations.
Concentration check.
Oh, no, really?
No.
Okay. Because I probably would have failed.
If she starts taking your sketchbook out and like looking through it and like that may be a concentration check. But if she's just trying to find that brush, no, that's fine.
I'm gonna have a peek. I got a 9 on an investigation check.
Okay. Then make a concentration check to see whether you can maintain your ritual. Because she's looking through your sketchbook.
It's just a concentration, like a con check. Oh, god damn it. Natural 20 for 21. I think that's my second nat 20 in a row, is it not?
It doesn't faze you at all that she's looking at it. You're like, yeah, no, I think it's okay. It's okay if she sees it. She's not going to read anything. There's no way
She doesn't know how to read anyway. No.
You flip to one of the latest entries, and it's like, the mean drow girl is very mean, but also very pretty. And something along those lines.
And I'm just going to be like, mean drow. What a jerk. Let's stuff it away and keep digging and see if I can find the paintbrush.
Okay. It takes you a while. like it's in there, so it should show up eventually. I don't like. It takes you a frustratingly long amount of time based on how bad your roll was. Because you got like a 9, right?
A 9, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not good.
But yeah, eventually you find the wand. And your sister Sweet Tooth says, well, if you want me to scry, I can, but the price must be paid.
What? Is it blood? Do you want blood? How much blood?
Syringe. Very clean syringe.
Why do you need blood? What do you use it for? Is it part of your magic process?
Yes, it is.
Like anyone's blood or one of our blood?
I need the blood of a gifted person.
Oh.
I suppose that's not something you come across very often, is it?
No, I could use the blood of somebody who isn't gifted. It's more than a syringe.
Oh.
If you want a syringe, and only a syringe, you have more powerful blood. You have blood that knits together bones and sinew and replenishes itself after a short amount of time. You heal incredibly fast.
Wow. That's true. I didn't know our blood was so valuable. Could just sell them and make a business.
I'm ritual casting. I can't ask questions.
Yeah. Zip's going to say, listen, if I learned anything from Titus, it's never give your blood to a strange witch. Like, really, in those words specifically. So I don't know if he foresaw this or something, but he was very clear.
What about animal blood? How much animal blood do you need?
What sort of animal would you go out and kill? Like, is it really worth that to spy on this person? Would you
No,
go out
but I
and
just
kill
want
an
to
animal
know
just for this?
No, I wouldn't, but just want to know how much blood though.
I mean, a large jungle cat? A horse?
That's a lot of blood.
Like all of their blood?
Yeah. Cow. I mean, I don't know what measurement you want.
How much blood to tell the future? You mentioned you could tell the future. Or for like a gifted person's blood.
A syringe worth?
Okay. Well, I mean, if we do give one syringe, I feel like we could request one thing.
I'm not going to tell you what to do with your life bug, but Titus told me never give your blood to a witch.
I mean, if we all give a little bit, then it's not that much blood. Like a quarter of a syringe.
I don't need to know anything that badly.
Just a little blood, and it will save us some time.
I think we did establish that she was there because we scried on her previously.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
She was at home.
Yeah, she was on a hot day. She was drinking wine with some guy.
This
memory.
A few days
It
ago.
was like a much older guy, like a patron of some kind, wasn't it?
I mean, it wasn't a
I
date.
see.
It was a guy who was painting.
Oh, okay. And she was like critiquing his art or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But did we know that was her home, or like I guess that's
You don't
They were
know whether it
dressed
was
for
her
hot
home or not.
climates.
right? So she is probably just like in her city or in her town or something.
Yeah. That's what I would expect.
Okay. Well, we didn't really get specific information where masters are, so maybe we can see where the Titan is. The Titan combo is flying, like geographically where it is.
There's a Titan flying around?
Oh yeah. That's where we're going actually. our masters have been captured, I guess, by this Titan. It's like 3 Titans in one.
What?
Yeah.
It's very
pretty
kinky.
rough.
Can you explain this a
I
little
say
more?
it. I come back to the party.
So we were where were we? In the Gempire? No. Is that where we were?
No, you're in the tririme.
Right. We were in the tririme and our masters were there, and then we got teleported here. And then we scryed on our masters and we found out that they were trapped inside crystals, which were on the back of this big Titan. That's like a mashup of 3 different Titans.
Which Titans?
The Phoenix and the rock, the crystal one, and the
Kraken.
squid one.
Yeah, I think you're right. There were tentacles involved
Yeah.
somewhere.
Kraken.
The Kraken.
Huh.
Thank you.
That's amazing. Wow. You guys have your work cut out for you.
Yeah. So, if you have any non-blood related magic that could help us, we could do some chores or something.
I mean,
Or
if you don't want to do blood, it can be, I mean, hair, marrow, flesh, cut off a finger. I don't know.
This is setting off so many warning bells for me, Matt, but I don't know if my character would know.
Listen,
Before I came back, I would want to have told the unseen servant to look for entrances inside or near around the area. Just basically like within whatever range the servant can reach within me, and then to just tell me about it.
Sure.
So I don't think it has a very good investigation or anything, but
I also want to ask, are you?
Go ahead.
Sure. I also want to ask if it's possible for her to. Could you bake us a giant gingerbread flying eagle that we can ride on?
Ooh,
Possibly.
never done that before. That would take. That'd be an interesting thing. Could maybe do that, but it would probably take about a month. Okay, probably about 2 months for me to do that.
We can stay here for 2 months. That's fine. What about? Well, how long did it take you to do to bake the bird, the small bird over here? What's the name? Snap.
Yeah. It took me a few tries, but when I actually got it done right, it was 3 days.
Well, what about just a slightly larger version and 4 of them, 1 for each of us?
Still, it would take quite some time.
Okay.
inhale.
Sorry, what was that, Priscilla?
How long have you been here, out of curiosity?
I kind of lose track of time, but it's been decades.
How old are you?
I'm timeless.
That's weird.
Good answer.
That's a reassuring answer.
Have you seen a Titan before?
No.
What would you do if you had to kill a Titan?
I guess it would depend on the Titan. If it was the big thing you were talking about?
Turn it into a cookie.
Maybe I would lure it with something that it wanted to somewhere where I could fight better.
Like a
Like
giant cookie.
I did with you here. In case you were bad people, I brought you to where I feel more protected and more safe. Is there somewhere where you think you could battle this thing better?
Not particularly.
I mean,
Something could be arranged, I think.
sounds like it's tough in the skies. Not so good in a volcano. It's fiery. Not so good in the water because it's the squid. Looks like it's pretty dangerous.
Mm.
Something about it being underground too. Or actually, I think I asked that out of character because I don't remember the story that was told.
The gem monster came from underground.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, they all came from underground. That's where the Titans come from.
Okay.
So how do you go about turning someone into a cookie?
Well, I don't turn someone into a cookie. I create a cookie with an essence to it. Like your friend made the invisible buddy to make us tea.
Wait, so I thought you said
Have some tea.
I thought you said you would turn people into.
Well, in the way that blood, a sacrifice, can be used to create magic. That I didn't want to kill them, but they attacked me. I defended myself. Might as well use that to do some magic.
Oh, I see. So you killed them first, and then you used their blood.
Yeah.
To make cookies.
Recycling, very efficient.
Yeah. Like a
What?
a jar of like teeth of like you know the tooth fairy. Have you heard of that story? That comes and take your teeth. So I pay people in the village to round up their kids' teeth, and I give them money and give them sweet treats to give back to their kids, and then I keep the teeth and I use those. Those are actually really good for doing magic. So I don't have to.
What kind of magic do you do with those?
Well, you know how I said I could take a finger or marrow or whatever, like bone can be a useful thing. And it's something that they're giving up anyways, right?
Yeah, but like day to day, what do you use those teeth for?
To make sure that the ants and the other things don't eat the gifts I have left out for the animals and the things. To make my food a little more durable to the weather. You know, if there's rain, they won't get. If there's rain here, that's not going to destroy the cake.
So how come you're always leaving cake around trying to bring people here if you're so awkward around people?
I don't know how to make friends, so I bake for them.
Either she's a really sweet old lady.
Not that old.
No, I'm not saying this out loud. This is just me hypothesizing. Either she's just like a sweet little old lady who needs company, or is a hag, like a monster. It could go. Yeah, why not?
What? You were casting your spell.
Mm-hmm.
What was it? Detect magic?
Detect magic, yeah.
Yeah. The house is like super glowing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Something that I do not like about Detect Magic in Dungeons & Dragons is it tells you the school of the magic. And I'm like, I don't want to do that because like I have to remember what abjuration is and conjuration. So instead I'm going to give you a general impression of what you think is magic about it and in what way. So we don't have this, veil of decoding things.
Yeah, I can never get the magic schools right when I'm trying to describe it either, because it's so... Yeah, it's too difficult to explain. Is it necromancy is my first question. Is it some kind of death magic? I suppose. Okay.
There is that the animated cookie golem things are probably what she's saying they are.
Okay.
That there's something unusual about the physical dimensions of the house.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Sort of like a bag of holding type vibe.
It's bigger on the inside type.
Yeah.
Like boxy.
And
Yeah.
the food is giving off, a vibe of protection or something. So that what she said about them being more durable feels like that. And they also are giving off some sort of life-giving, like healing type feel to it. Like it's more nutritious than regular sugary goods.
Okay. I'm just looking around at everything. I'm looking at her. I'm just like...
The stuff that's growing around you, it feels like there's it's being influenced and tainted by her presence. That her doing this sweet magic here is spreading it.
Okay.
And you can think of it in a negative light because it's a blight on nature, or you can think of it as a positive expression of her sweet good-naturedness. It depends on how you want to look at it. I don't want to... It has that duality that you're trying to figure out about her, and you don't get a clear answer from that. But clearly, it feels like this whole area is influenced by some level of magic.
Okay. And just jog my memory in regards to what we were told by the villagers about her. That it's that people were going missing in the woods near her cottage, right? Like, specifically, there was like a higher amount of people that had gone missing.
And some people had seen alcohol instead of sweets. And some people had seen money instead of sweets.
Right. Okay.
But, again, not necessarily reliable information, because if somebody's disappeared, how do you know what they found?
Right, yeah. All right. I think this is a wild goose chase, everybody. I don't think we have to worry about her at all.
Yeah, if she wanted to eat us, she would have done so already.
Yeah.
Why would I want to eat you?
I don't know, because you want our blood?
I mean, I would love some of your blood. It'd be extremely potent to cast a spell and do magic with. Like, it would save me having to go out and, try and fight a chimera by myself or something, like...
Yeah, don't do
find
that.
some nasty... Well, I've done it before, with the help of my golems, we can subdue some nasty monsters that, are like the apex predators here that are killing some of the nasty, like, innocent little birdies and things. But, one little sample of your blood could help me out a lot.
Will you help us
and
kill
the
the...
policy never to give away blood after an incident 2 or 3 years ago.
Fred said the same thing to me. He's all like, Zip, don't ever give your blood away. Will you help us?
I would understand why the elf would say that, because they don't like the old magic. The Silic kingdoms are not very. They have delicious recipes, but they're not very forgiving to the old ways of magic. The way us people who aren't gifted have to do it. They've been quite rude, I find.
Well, it hasn't led to good outcomes for the kingdom.
I know, it's shrunk in size.
You misunderstand. I mean, well, I suppose it's not important.
Your thing has not come back yet. So either it's been dispelled or it's still looking and hasn't found anything.
Can you help us kill the Titan?
Ooh, that's a big ask.
I mean, what else are you doing? You're just hanging out in the woods.
How much blood would it take to kill a Titan?
Make a persuasion check with advantage. Zip.
Only a 10.
Oh, can't hear that.
I can't hear you.
Sorry, I've been muting because I've got a snowblower going outside my window.
It snowed all day today in Toronto, guys. Just FYI. Literally all day.
Yeah.
We made a snow dragon in our backyard. So, I mean, I'll help you brainstorm. I mean, you don't even know what you're asking me to do yet. Right? Like, kill it outright? Like,
I mean,
like, in what way? Like, do you want me to create a poison? Do you want me to create a giant sword? Like,
any of the above. Any of the above. We got nothing right now.
I'm more concerned with them sending other people out here to like try and take care of you when you don't pose any sort of threat to them. Like, how are we going to deal with that is my question, because we can't go back to town and just like murder everybody, because that's out of the question, right?
What?
Right?
Murder everybody.
Swell seems to have got some murders
Are you okay, Swell? What happened? What's going on?
I'm role playing that -1 intelligence here. He's kind of like we can't go back and like stop them from hurting her because she's no threat to them.
So we have to murder them.
Yeah, it's like worst case scenario right from the start.
Right. I thought you meant you had to murder all the villagers to get enough blood to. In which case, it's kind of like, do the ends really justify the means here?
No, they do not.
I mean, do we?
He calculates in his mind. Yeah.
I mean,
We don't really need to do anything about it, do we?
well, I don't want her to get hurt, and I don't. She's got a lot of stuff that she could give to the
She
people.
seems pretty well able to take care of herself.
Yeah,
She's
I
lived
feel like-
here for decades by her own.
Yeah, but there's people dying that don't need to because they think they need to take care of some kind of crazy blood-starved witch.
I thought that the
Well, we
villagers
can
mostly
certainly-
just wanted to leave her alone, though.
Yes, that male certainly very keen on telling everyone not to go anywhere dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can certainly add our own witness testimony.
I mean,
That is, if you'll let us leave.
I mean, let you leave? You think I'm in a position to stop a bunch of gifted kids? Maybe.
I don't know.
But
I don't know how much blood you've got stored away.
Okay. I mean, don't we still want to know exactly where the big Titan is? Because we just saw it. We don't know where it is.
I feel like
So-
it's going to make itself known eventually.
What? How? Like, it will
Well-
find us? You're saying?
Like it's a giant titan. Surely
Yeah.
somebody has seen it by now.
No one's reporting on it.
I will sit down and
do you want to find it? Or do you want to avoid it?
Yeah. Well, our masters are trapped on top of the Titan.
Are you ready to go do this fight?
By no means.
I'll sit down and cut myself a big slice of cake and pour myself a big cup of tea and then begin to eat it.
I mean, we could. I think a giant eagle, a gingerbread eagle, would help.
I just hope the titan doesn't have a
And-
sweet tooth.
And well, it will help us go anywhere, and and if we have to wait here for 2 months for it, then we'll wait here for 2 months.
The time just keeps running. First it was like 2 or 3 days, and then it was 4 or 5, and now it's 2 months.
And we have a house getting built back in the village.
mean, it's not that much time. And plus, we're not. If you're saying we're not ready to kill the Titan now, we can train or something. We can do push-ups for 2 months.
Montage of us getting ready to battle it.
Yeah. And then we'll be stronger, and then have a flying gingerbread eagle.
I like the idea, but we should keep going. Go see Britta. I think. Didn't know what to
come back for it. We could come back in 2 months, pick it up.
The eagles are coming.
And that's the question of why they didn't just fly on them directly to the Titan.
They didn't have 2 months to wait for them to bake. Yeah,
that had to be baked.
Well, I mean, how tough are the gingerbread guardians? Because, like, are they just like cookies? How do they, protect you?
They're pretty tough. But
so they're not like normal gingerbread cookies.
No, they don't break as easy.
Okay.
Well, you seem to have a lot of questions, things you want to know the answers to, and your friends keep dissuading you from getting the answers that you want.
And what are you saying?
I'm saying
I should just
you
ask
should listen
them,
to your friends and cherish them, but at the same time, if you do want to know about the future or have me scry on someone, I mean,
you'll do it for me for free.
You gotta give up that sweet blood.
Yeah, I have to. I'm trying to find the perfect question, so I don't want to give up more than one vial of blood, syringe of blood. I do have a lot of hair.
That's true. Oh, can we shave Bug?
How much hair would it take?
I mean, we can just do that anyway. We don't have to wait for a witch trying to do a scrying spell.
Well, it depends. What do you want me to do? What's the question? What do you want to know?
Would you be able to locate the Titan? Like, tell us where it is?
Yeah, a lock of your hair.
Oh, that's so okay. That's so easy. But now it makes me suspicious that you're gonna do voodoo magic with my
I am.
body.
I'm going to use the old ways to cast the spell.
That's kind of what you're signing up for, Bug.
Yeah.
Well, no, but then control me.
No.
Turn me into okay.
No,
Listen,
Bug,
right.
I promise you, I swear to you, I am not trying to control you or hurt you or use my magic powers to influence you in any way.
What are you trying to? What do you say? Swell?
Priscilla's got a hand up.
No.
Oh, I was like, can I inside check that?
I thought you might be asking that. Yeah, go for it.
Oh yeah, I forgot you can do that.
I really want to do it as well, but I don't want to just be like inside checking everything.
Yeah, dirty 20.
Nice. Okay.
You think that she's being completely honest in that statement. You think that she's hiding something, but you also don't think it's something too terrible, or like she seems awkward and nervous and uncomfortable, and has been awkward and nervous and uncomfortable through this whole thing, but you're not getting a sense of malevolence out of her. She's not like, I really want to kill these kids. She's like, I want to help them, but it's kind of, I don't know. It might be just that she wants to experiment with gifted people that she's never cast a spell with gifted hair before. That this is something that intrigues her on some magic level.
Mm.
How did she react to me casting that spell? Was she...
She was watching you a lot. She was very intrigued by what you were doing.
Okay, but she didn't try to stop me or anything like that?
Nope.
Okay. All right. Well, then, if it's just some hair, then yeah. Here.
She
give you some
has a
hair.
side bag and takes out some shears and it's like, may I?
Okay.
And
Just
she comes
a little
forward.
bit.
She snips off like, I know how much I need. And she cuts off like, a chunk that's not like really visible, like, oh my goodness, look at that terrible haircut you've got. But it's also not like one or two strands. It's a decent sized lock of hair.
Wow.
And she takes it from
Ask
somewhere.
a lot more questions.
She takes it from somewhere that doesn't really, isn't as noticeable. She says, now, unfortunately, unlike some of the spells that you gifted people can cast, it's not quite as fast. It's going to take me an hour. If you guys, can you hang out for another hour?
Yeah.
Help yourself to
Yeah.
food, drink.
Yeah, that's reasonable. Do you need any other information, like a drawing of this type?
Yeah. She asks for all the information you can give her about this thing and, collects it all. And then spends, she says, I need to get a few things from my house. And she goes in and retrieves a bunch of objects. They're like cooking supplies, basically, that she needs. And she's starts mixing ingredients and baking something, putting together. And it's basically a jello that she's making. And she has the hair. And she's using that, like she's taking a strand and putting it in and whipping it around, and then she's mumbling words. And as she's spinning and stirring, the hair like sort of crackles a little bit and disappears. Like you can't see the hair in the jello anymore.
Does she use all of Bug's hair?
Make a perception check.
$19.
No, she has pocketed some of it and kept it for herself.
I'm gonna lean over to Bug and be like, you might want to think about getting the rest of your hair back.
And she's stirring and stirring and stirring and stirring and then eventually there's this gelatinous thing that she's made, and you can see an image of the draw what you guys see here.
During this, Ispuril is going to command his servant to refill his tea from the teapot that was prepared to see if it's still around, basically.
Yeah, it shows up.
Okay. And then once that's done, then he is going to basically have it collect the plates, or he'll pretend to have it, or he'll pretend to collect some of the plates and then give a stack of one real plate and then a stack of illusionary plates, but inside of which is concealed the jar of teeth, to the unseen servant, and then going to have him go back into the house and replace it.
Okay.
Put it back in
He's
the center.
already been in the house and collected ingredients by this point.
Oh.
So
She knows that the jar's
Who's in the
gone.
house?
Yeah.
yeah. So you're returning it after she's been in there.
Mhm.
So what you guys see is a cloud that's like a big nest. And it is dark. Oops. Very dark, apparently. Where's my clothes? There we go. No. You got it. No. Come on. There we go. So there's like stars in the background. And it's just sleeping away.
Oh.
And is it moving? Like, can we see a moving picture?
Yes, it's a moving picture. You can see it breathing.
Can you zoom out a little bit? I say to the witch.
No, I can. You can walk around it and see it from different sides.
I'm gonna get my face right down close to it. Can I see our masters in the gems?
Yes.
There they are.
Are they
still there.
are they moving or are they doing fine?
They're frozen.
Oh.
Does anyone know where this is? Do we know where this is?
In space?
Does the witch know where it is?
I see. I'm pretty good with the constellations. Do you guys know the constellations? Maybe we can pinpoint it from where what stars we can see.
I'm gonna get my ring and rub it and
Try.
blow on it, and then I'm gonna look closer and see if it helps.
All right. So you want to do a survival check with advantage is what you're doing, right?
Yeah. Will that work, or is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. First roll. An 8. Is that great? Oh, that was nearly another 20. It's a 5.
So it's 8.
8's the highest, yeah.
There's something about the sheen of the gelatinous stuff that you can't quite figure out where it is. You think it's northern hemisphere?
Well, because it's dark, right? It's dark there right now, so I don't think I've traveled that far. I don't think I've seen these stars before. Bug, Espurial, you've been up there, right? Do these...
Bug hasn't.
No?
Mm-hmm. Espurial has been closer, sort of like the low end of the northern hemisphere.
Mm.
Would you like to do a check, or would you like? I'm going to let one more check happen. You can either ask a party member, any of the NPCs.
Well, the NPCs have traveled. Yava's been around.
You want Yarva to do it?
Right?
Sure.
Who else
What is it? Perception check? Is that what it is?
survival?
Wilderness survival.
Oh, survival.
So you can either ask Sister Sweet Tooth, Yarva, Espurial, Foxy.
I am willing to give it a shot, but I am certainly not a good survivalist. And nothing about this Burrilla suggests that he is.
Well, all you have to do is, it's up to you. Like you make the call then. If you want me to roll, I will roll. If you want to roll, make it a roll.
I mean, yeah, he would want to.
All right.
Just go ahead and if someone else asks first. That's an 18.
Nice.
Yeah. One of the reasons you might not be able to spot it or understand where this is like you're like, I can just make out the ones on the very edge. I understand, like, I think this is almost at the North Pole, basically. It's sitting on top of the planet, away from everybody.
Is that
There's nothing
near?
there.
Is that near where the drow live?
It is.
Bug, do you want to do a drawing? We can take it back to the drow.
Oh yeah. I will do that.
The Sister Sweet Tooth seems like a little more sweaty and like it's like, I'm afraid the magic's going to disappear soon. So, I can hold it for a little bit longer, but this is it's difficult to maintain. And then
No, I'm just kidding. I draw the most prominent constellation that I think, like, whatever catches my eye from the, like a shape or whatever.
Sure.
Constellation.
Zip's
Yeah.
gonna say, you could just do the spell again with the rest of the hair that's in your pocket.
Oh, you noticed that, did you? Well, I'm a little awkward about asking for things, but I was hoping that maybe by taking some of your hair or getting a sample of some of your blood, I would be able to figure out more about how I could become gifted, because I don't want to keep doing this magic. I want to learn to do magic the new way. I want to learn to become a wizard or a sorcerer or a warlock instead of a shaman.
Do you really think that's something you can learn?
Maybe. I've learned so much. Maybe I can't. And maybe it's foolish of me to try, but I mean, all it costs you is some hair. And what you can do is open a huge door for me. Something where I don't have to stay here hidden away from people. I can go out on adventures like you guys.
Is it that we were born with these gifts, or that we were taught?
You were born with these gifts.
Okay.
And you were taught how to use them, and you've been taught things beyond how to use them. Like they've taught you, how to sleep lightly and how to pack a saddlebag and all the sort of things that you would need to know if you were an adventurer that,
Yeah.
a cobbler would have never known to tell you about.
Are even wizards born?
Yes. That you can't just learn spells from a book. There is, like I said, an old type of magic, a magic that is, like a blood magic, a sacrifice that is long rituals drawn out. In the same way that when you were in the Tabaxi village, they were able to use these gems to do this scrying thing because it had been passed down through the generations how to do this thing. It was like, it's an old magic. And it's not that they can do tons of different things, and they themselves aren't particularly, durable, but sometimes they can do special things based on recipes and rituals and things like that.
I want to ask, since you can look into the future, can you look at the past, what happened in the past?
Yes, I can do that as well.
So can you look at the what are the rules? Like, can you look at like what happened to this Titan like a few days, I don't know, like a year ago or a few months ago? Like, what's the span of time?
How it came to be, I suppose.
Yeah. Maybe that's
that one. I mean, that's a big question. That's something where I'm going to need more than just a lock of hair. Like, scrying is a lot easier than looking backwards in time. So if you're willing to make the sacrifice, I'll do it for you.
How much?
If you let me keep the lock of hair, the rest of this hair, then I promise I won't take more than I need for the next thing that I do for you.
How much blood? Or
how much hair?
Bug's just like, how much do you?
Yeah, how much do you need? I got it all.
I would need to fill this bowl with hair, or I would need 2 syringes of blood.
I slowly turn my head towards Bug. Just real slow.
It's a lot. It's a tough question to ask.
I mean, we all have hair. That's all. Look, Zip, look at Swell. You both have long hair. You have so much hair.
Zip's gonna kind of grab her ponytail
easily fill the bowl
protectively and just be like,
Wait, how big is the bowl? Like this big?
So I'm going to draw it next to Bug.
Okay. Yeah, we can.
So, like, if you shaved off the top of your head or you shave your arms or something, like, you might get enough hair.
Okay, yeah. I'll do that. I can do that.
The hair that I have hanging down at the back, like the top part is pulled back into like a little bun, but then I've got like the rest kind of like hanging down. If I shaved like a real sweet undercut, would that be enough hair for you?
It would do a lot. I'll see if it fills the bowl. It's going to have to fill the bowl.
Okay. Yeah, let's do that. You shave your head and I'll shave my head too.
Which one of his has? I'm going to look at Ispiriel as I say this. Who's got a pair of like some way of cutting hair and?
I'm good at this.
I have a sword.
I pull out, or I direct the servants, Alphas, to go and fetch the scissors from the pack.
She pulls out scissors from her pack, and she's like, "If you want them to do it, I mean, here."
It's not that I don't trust you about, like, it's more that I know Ispiriel knows how to look after hair, because, I mean, well, look at him, right?
Yeah, that style is certainly in certain places.
That feels like subtle shade.
No, it was genuinely meant as a compliment.
No, the from the witch.
Oh, yeah.
The scissors get taken by the servant and they kind of float into the air to whoever's closest. And you feel like little...
She also has like a straight razor. She's like, "You can use this if you need it to." And she leaves it on the table.
I'll say just the under part. Mm-hmm. All right? Not just the under part.
All right.
And what follows next is actually like the servant is apparently used to this because it becomes like a full service.
Yeah.
If they actually let it, like, there's a little sheet that's taken out from a little sack and like put over, and then if they sit around for it, there's like little cream, lathered up, etc.
So yeah, with you guys both of you cutting your hair off, the bowl is full of hair. It's like, it's loosely put down, like it's fallen, like not completely flatly, but you now have a bowl of silver and black hair. And she's like, "Okay, this is going to take me probably until sunset."
Guess I'll draw my new haircut now.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to do as well.
Wait. Are we specific with the question? What do we want to ask?
You wanted to ask, how is this thing made, right?
The Titan?
Yeah.
Yes.
How did it come to be?
And then when it captured our master, the moment it captured our master?
Well, we were there when that happened. Right?
Well, we didn't see it, so bless you. So I don't know. I guess, is that part not important?
I think I would be more interested in how it came to be. Correctly, as it currently is.
Okay.
It's because we know that there were 3 separate titans that were defeated and they have somehow merged together and become one. And that seems an important process to know.
But also, if we see how it captures our master, then we could avoid being captured that way.
I mean, it could have simply captured his master by coming forward and being immune to any of their attacks, so...
Yeah, but if it was like they screamed at our master, then we could wear earplugs. I don't know.
Get some intel.
Like, can we see both, is what I'm saying? Or can we only see one?
Just one. If you want to hang around until tomorrow, we can try again tomorrow with something else.
All right, we'll shave again if we want to see one. Then I guess we'll see how he came to be.
Okay. So we're going to leave you guys on a cliffhanger here. as she spends the day putting together all of this material. She bakes this into another sort of, jello mold again. And the sun is setting, purple sky, some stars starting to show up when you get this image again. And you see an image of a man with orange hair talking to a being that is sewn together a bunch of different other bodies. You can't tell what the original body is. There's like a live male form and sort of a buxom, large-shouldered woman and a crab claw and all these other weird things all mixed together. And that person is being presented with a shard of purple crystal, a giant egg, and a tentacle from a squid. And we're going to leave it there.
I knew it.
And I might have some more images or information for you for next week. Or for our next game. You'll find out more about the mystery of how that all happened another time. Thanks for joining us. We went a little bit later than we usually do tonight, so anybody have a quick moment that they enjoyed from this game?
I was really looking forward to seeing a shaved bug. Anyway.
Yeah, that climax was pretty good. I feel like all the time we spent with this woman kind of paid off.
I really thought we were going to have to
third degree grill.
I really thought we were going to have to fight a witch this week. So I was like very much like hesitant to be like, she's okay. So I had to like go through the whole steps of like, is she not evil? Is she evil? Turns out only maybe a little bit.
She's trying to look as, like, what is it? Not as suspicious as possible. Or no, like, with all the gingerbread children on the roof. Like, I feel like it's like one of those things where they don't mean to look suspicious, but then, like, stalking us at nighttime, leaving candy, gingerbread-shaped people on the roof that blinks.
He's awkward. He's awkward around people. Maybe also evil. Well,
I'm like, maybe she's lying to us the whole time. She's actually the Titan. No, just kidding.
I'm curious if it's this Duncan or if it's the racist orange haired person.
We'll find out next week on the next episode.
I really enjoyed
same Twitch channel.
I really enjoyed the drawing of the cake.
Whatever. I like that she put Boxy on there. And the hand. What's the hand's name again? I can't even remember.
Sutran. I try not to interrupt so much with the NPCs unless there's something really, I think helpful happening. But yeah, that's why you don't notice her as much. Also, she's quiet.
Yeah.
Poor Sutran's getting dragged all over the place in her one quest to try and get back to the body.
She has been trying to talk the whole time, but no one can see her.
There's like a whole scroll of paper. She's like, watch out, she's a terrible witch and she knows this magic. And come on, guys, look.
Yeah.
She's like clicking her fingers at us, like pointing. Oh god.
Yeah. Outros. Boya.
All right, I'm Boya. Thank you for watching. Check out my stuff on Instagram and on my website.
Priscilla.
Hi, I'm Priscilla. You can find me on Twitter at autumnflame or my website is priscillakim.com.
Caitlin.
Thanks for watching, guys. I've been Caitlin. See you next week.
Matt.
Thanks, guys. I've been Matt. Yeah. Thanks for watching us play a game. It was fun.
And I'm Brian, and I'm saying, may all of your marks be magical or something like that. Good night, everyone.
Good night. Bye.
Bye.